Yeah, Luke Phillips at fullback, Singh, Cross, Hegarty, Minicello, Fittler and Lamb the halves, Ricketson, Fitzgibbon, Fletcher, Cusack, Benetti and Rubin, and on the bench, and a productive bench, Hood, Solomona, Wing and Rigon, and coached by Graham Murray.
And the Newcastle Knights, Adam McDougall at fullback, Darren Albert, Tahu the wingers, Gidley and Hughes the centre pairing, Matthew and Andrew Johns in the halves, Billy Peden locks the scrum, Ben Kennedy and David Fairley the second rowers, and up front Matt Parsons, Danny Badiris and Tony Butterfield, who captains the side, and the interchange bench, Rudder, Shields, Simpson, Rahihi, and their coach Warren Ryan.
And the match is under referee Bill Harrigan. The whistle is there. The first of the preliminary finals is underway. Cusack it is, the first of the Roosters to bring it back. Put down just inside his own 20-metre line. Newcastle's record here at the football stadium, not good. In fact, they've only won one from their last 6 outings here at Moore Park. Cusack again, his second hit up in the first use of the football for the Sydney Roosters. Butterfield coming off second best in defence then, and Fittler kicks on an early tackle. A big kick going down to McDougall back in his own 20-metre line. And he's put away there by the Roosters centre, Ryan Cross, with Ricketson covering a lot of ground to participate in the tackle. Newcastle then, second tackle of the night for them, and Bill Harrigan penalises the Roosters.
You'll see both teams tonight trying to play the ball down of the opposition. This time Luke Ricketson just going too long on Tamana Tahu for Bill Harrigan's liking. But you've got to make sure that the momentum is stopped for the opposition. Here's Parsons.
To the opposition 40-metre line. Crowd of around 35,000 people. And just on the journey down here tonight. Bus after bus coming down from Newcastle and the Hunter Valley. It was almost an endless chain. David Fairley, England bound. Plenty of players on departure. Should this be the last for Newcastle tonight? Kennedy did well. Hampered by that ankle injury. So they come to the right. They're 10 metres out. Andrew steps, gets the ball away. Kennedy was there, stayed alert. And then a floating pass, finding McDougall on the bounce. And McDougall then on the 20-metre line. They're losing ground with the football. Badiris, 11 away from the line on the eastern side of the ground. Andrew Johns, a grubbing kick, and over the dead ball line, it'll come back to the 20 for the restart. So the first pressure has been repelled by Sydney Roosters.
They'll be disappointed with that, Andrew Johns. He had a little bit of time to get a better kick in, force the line drop out. Went too deep.
Fittler now. Fitzgibbon losing it forward. And this is a break for Newcastle. They'll have the loose head and feed, 30 metres out, 20 metres in. On the Roosters' end of the park, it was Fittler. Put a bullet-like pass across. I fancied that it was meant for Hegarty. And Fitzgibbon put a hand on it. It went forward. So they sort each other out early. McDougall into the back line. Pumped like I don't think I've seen before from Adam McDougall. Matthew Johns was the dummy half. Parsons gave an inside ball. Peden's there. Peden to the 10-metre line. And he will play at 10 metres in from touch, eastern side. So Newcastle thrust again. Matthew Johns, one of the players who would be on departure as of tonight if they're beaten. Then Fairley, and Fairley does a pirouette, looking for a grand final with great pain, I would imagine. The kick is marked on the full by Matt Singh. Well, they can pump away at that wing down into that corner all night, and he will give you nothing. 20-metre restart again for the Roosters. Let's hope for their sake that they get through this set of 6 better than they did last time.
Well, this is a very encouraging start defensively for the Roosters. Keep turning the Newcastle players in, forcing some ordinary kicks, and that will build their confidence. As Fitzgibbon gets the football this time, 45 out from his own line, second tackle.
Bonetti then. And then Fittler, and runs himself. He tries to crack them. They hang on. He trampled away from Parsons. Got his pass away. Ricketson's there. They got an overlap. They got numbers on the way to the ground. Ryan Cross gets it away to Minicello. Minicello's over. Minicello. The touch judge likes it. Bill Harrigan is going to look at it. But I think that Minicello is of the opinion he has scored a fair try.
Well, Bill Harrigan believes that the grounding of the football is okay. I have got a little bit of a doubt on the Luke Ricketson pass. Now, I'm pretty sure I heard Bill Harrigan right saying that he was happy with the Minicello put down. Fantastic work from Brad Fittler. How he got that pass away, I'll never know. My only concern is that ball there. I think it's forward.
It'll be interesting to see how it looked off the hands. There's no doubt it looks as though it's floated forward. Off the hands of Luke Ricketson. It's coming up, and there's the hands, there's the pass, and I don't know. I certainly wouldn't be arguing if he rules fair try.
Yeah, for those people at home, don't be concerned where Ryan Cross caught the football. It's where the hands were aimed, and that is the decision to be made by the video referee.
This is very much even Stevens for mine. It's no try. Video referee John Gosha ruling no try.
Yeah, well, it just undoes some outstanding work by Brad Fittler. Watch this for perseverance and strength over the top. Got it away to Luke Ricketson. Could have passed now. He decided to take a defender out, and that defence just enabled the pass to go forward. A let-off for the Knights, and bad luck for Brad Fittler because he did so well to create that opportunity.
Newcastle then, with Bill Peden beating the first attempt from Craig Fitzgibbon. Play on the 40-metre line. A let off for the Knights, their big support group. They breathe a sigh of relief as Butterfield hammers it ahead and gets it a couple of metres on the Roosters side of halfway. Nothing in the first preliminary final, as Newcastle and Sydney Roosters vie for the first team to be through to the grand final. Andrew puts a kick across in front of the uprights. It's fielded there by the disallowed try scorer Minicello, and he did very well. He was able to beat Tahu and get back into the field of play.
We've got a knock on, Ray. Dummy half. Minicello did a great job. Unfortunately, Luke Phillips, I think, is the man at dummy half. He was knocked on.
He certainly has a double grab there. And the Roosters started off this way last week against the Raiders. Turned over a lot of ball at their own end of the field. Their defence held on that occasion. They won't be able to give too many more opportunities to the Newcastle Knights down in this area of the field.
So, again, the Roosters very much on the back foot. Their defence has held Newcastle twice. This is the third attacking launch from Newcastle inside the 20-metre zone. And it is Bill Peden. Now, Buderis, as we've seen here at the football stadium, losing his footing more so than being tackled. And then McDougall finding Matthew Johns. He's off his left foot. And they take him to ground. Cusack, the big front rower, hitting very hard up the top of Simon Bonetti. Buderis again fires it away. Andrew Johns, he gets the ball away for Hughes, and Hughes is over. Newcastle first try. Mark Hughes diving in. Newcastle grabbing first points.
It can be a cruel game, can't it? The Roosters have done very well, but they've cut their own throat at this end of the field following this knock-on at dummy half from Luke Phillips. As Phil Gould pointed out, you just can't give them this many opportunities. Great pass, this one. As we freeze it there, you can see we've got the winger, has got a couple coming at him. The straight running of the try scorer is the key. He gets outside Ryan Cross. Underrated player Mark Hughes ran a perfect line.
5 metres in, 20 metres out. The kick is on its way, and it's away. No conversion. 4-0 Newcastle. So 8 minutes into the game. The try coming at the 7th minute. A beautiful pass delivered by Andrew Johns. Mark Hughes cracking the defence line. He ran at the gap. Andrew put the ball there. Phillips starts. Back live at the football stadium. Newcastle first try came at the 7th minute, scored by Mark Hughes. No addition to the scoreboard off the kick from Andrew Johns. It is 4-0. As Butterfield is tackled, they gave him a massive send-off on Tuesday night in Newcastle in front of a crowd of 2,000. And of course his teammates would love to give him a bigger send-off here tonight. Badeiros is doing well. Badeiros has made a big run. He's down to the 30, puts the kick in. The Newcastle side outnumbered in the race for the ball. Fittler.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether Danny Badeiros should have kicked there. He did deliberately for Darren Albert, but great work from Badeiros to see Brad Fittler slow out of the marker area as the Roosters receive a relieving penalty.
Now, apparently Luke Ricketson is out of the game, Andrew.
Oh, Ray, this is tragic news. I mean, that forward pass, Luke Ricketson in the lead up to the no try for Minicello, it is a double blow. He has done his hamstring. He felt it go. He's only got a 10% chance of coming back. But looking at that shot, I'd have to say Luke Ricketson is out of this game.
Well, that's a double whammy. Luke Ricketson, we believe, will take no further part. One of their key players in a star-studded back of the scrum, Luke Ricketson, we don't think he'll be back. And the look on the face says it all. And that means that the workload for Brian Fletcher and Craig Fitzgibbon, it grows immensely. Lamb away for Fitzgibbon now. Ball loose, gathered in by the Roosters. And the 5th tackle is there for them now. On the 40-metre line, Newcastle's end. Newcastle leading 4-0 as Fittler kicks. Charge down pressure from Kennedy. McDougall underneath it, and McDougall on his own 10-metre line comes to Ryan Cross and Shane Rigon, and that's where he plays the ball.
Talking to Brad Fittler during the week, he believes he can get a bit of a mistake out of Adam McDougall. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a hell of a lot more high kicks during the course of this contest. Brad Fittler believes he can get a fumble from the Newcastle number 1.
Parsons. This is Rahihi. When Newcastle played in the grand final in 1997, I think I'm right in saying he was in the Navy, and probably playing in the rugby league preliminary final or grand final was simply a dream. As Andrew Johns puts this ball down, bouncing away from Luke Phillips. He's back in his in goal. He'll be forced to pick it up, I feel. No, he's able to just encourage it across that dead ball line. A little bit too much weight from Andrew Johns, but that was by far and away his best kick thus far. Singh.
That is a savage blow for the Roosters if Luke Ricketson takes no further part. He's been in great form the last couple of weeks. He took our man of the match in the game against the Broncos. They won 28-0. And his work rate will be missed as the Roosters take it towards the halfway line with Fletcher.
Benetti. Adrian Lamb drifting across, putting Rigon up the middle. Thumb being strapped up there for Peter Shields. And this is Dallas Hood now. They lost one, got one back. Scott Logan, replaced by Dallas Hood. Scott with that injury to the cheekbone. A penalty goes to the Roosters on the 40-metre line. Newcastle's end.
And that's a cardinal sin. You do not give away a penalty on the last tackle. You've just worked hard for 5, forcing the opposition to kick. And you give away a soft penalty. I think it's Steve Simpson who was the culprit. Although Badeiros had a little bit of a hand in there as well. Great chance for the Roosters now, their best so far of the match.
Fittler finding the line, 11 away. Benetti now. Solomona with a very good run, dedicated. Benetti, a little juggler dummy half. I thought for a moment there might have been a tiny knock on, but no. And Solomona is there for duty to go to Lamb. Lamb turns it back on the inside for Fletcher. Fletcher, they contain the ball. Rahihi and Kennedy. And then Fitzgibbon. Oh, bad pass. Fittler did well. And Andrew Johns puts him away with the help of his brother, but Bill Harrigan was playing an advantage. And the Roosters will more than likely take the kick at goal. They're only About 10 metres away from the uprights and 10 metres out. 4-0.
Well, you could see Bill Harrigan played advantage there. He told Andrew Johns 3 times in a row, you've been offside. Matthew Johns is generally the man who gets a bit of a running caution at times for getting up offside continuously. This time, his brother.
19 in, 16 out. Fitzgibbon, shaky but got it. It's a goal to the Sydney Roosters. They are trailing by 4-2. As we welcome our viewers in New Zealand, of course, and in the UK. You know, some very interested people over there watching tonight. Through Sky Sports in England and down through Europe. Newcastle sending it down to the Roosters line. It is 4-2 in the first preliminary final. Newcastle with a try, which wasn't converted, and then a penalty goal to the Roosters, reducing that lead back to just the 2 points. And apart from the scoreboard, the next most important thing is to reiterate that Luke Ricketson appears to be out of the game, tearing a hamstring. Riggin. Lamb getting his kick away under pressure and finding touch. Yes. Almost regretted saying that. It was just lollying along there, eventually finding it.
I was talking to Matthew Johns at the Footy Show Awards a few weeks ago, and he said that Warren Ryan has been drilling them very heavily on their up and in defence. He believes that finals football is won by pressure in defence. They're certainly getting up quick. They've conceded a couple of penalties. They're trying to wear down the patience of referee Bill Harrigan. The Roosters are going to have to kick earlier. A lot more of that from Adrian Land and Brad Fittler to break up this Newcastle Knights up and in defence.
Because that is one part of the equation we probably haven't dealt with tonight. Newcastle with the services of Warren Ryan, veteran coach. Very successful coach, though. The times tackled in the opposition 20 statistic, simply reflecting that Newcastle have been down there more often than Sydney Roosters. But Ryan's experience in finals, it cannot be underestimated. As the Johns brothers combine before they find Rohihi, and then he gets the ball away back for Matthew. Matthew gets it back for Simpson. Simpson up to the 30-metre line, trying to run between them now. And Hegarty and Fittler are there, but he gets a flick pass away. And this is Gidley. Gidley going across the park, puts a left-footed kick in. He's looking for the flankers out on the left of the ground. And beautiful work by Newcastle and by Minicello. But that was really hot stuff.
I'm looking at Peter Sterling and he's smiling because this is what he enjoys about rugby league, and doesn't everyone else. Some super football in this passage. Look at Andrew Johns, in and out at the players, a one around the corner. It'll go across field. It looks like it's dead. Matthew Johns will be held. Now he gets it out the other side. Comes back for Simpson. He'll do a terrific ball out the back to Gidley. He'll now mosey across the field, line up his outside supports and put an inch-perfect kick in behind the line to force a line drop out against the Roosters. Tremendous football.
Here's Gidley now, playing it just outside the 20-metre line as Newcastle go in the Roosters' red zone area again. Problems there for Ian Rubin, and Bill Harrigan's calling a stop.
Well, it's not often you see the big fella stay down. Only a bumper year for the Roosters is Ian Rubin. Coming in on that tackle, and he just cops a bit of a forearm there from Craig Fitzgibbon. And that adds insult to injury when you cop it from a teammate. The thing I like about Newcastle when they've got the football, they just continue to ask questions. If you relax anywhere, you are going to get hurt.
4-2 the scoreboard. Newcastle a try at the 7th minute, scored by Mark Hughes. Beautiful pass, like a missile from Andrew Johns in front of this crowd. I'm pretty sure I'm right in suggesting to you we're about 7,000 short of capacity here at the football stadium. And really that emphasises just how many people have made that fairly long journey down from Newcastle to follow their team. It's not meant to be disrespectful to the locals here at Eastern Suburbs, but the Novocastrians, they just absolutely love their rugby league. So this is the second tackle as Rahihi is forced back. Good defence. Good solid stuff there, particularly from Adrian Lamb. And now Simpson. 11 out, centre of the ground. Matthew Johns. They take him low and high, and Bill Harrigan was playing the advantage. Newcastle will take the kick at goal. Andrew Johns has pointed to the uprights.
And this time it was Brad Fittler, the man penalised, so you can see the importance on the fringe of the ruck for both defensive teams to be getting up quickly. Bill Harrigan very aware that that is happening. He's playing advantage, and when there is no advantage, he awards the penalty.
As Andrew Johns lines up this penalty shot.
So Andrew is online. It is 6-2. He got the goal then that he missed earlier. 6-2 Newcastle over Sydney Roosters. 20 minutes gone. Quarter of the game gone. Just the one try. Tomorrow, of course, Parramatta in Brisbane. That's the scoreboard here at Football Stadium in Sydney. 6-2 Newcastle leading the home side, Sydney Roosters. A try and a penalty goal to Newcastle, up against a penalty goal only for the Roosters, who have lost one of their big guns. They've lost their lock forward, Luke Ricketson. As Newcastle, the red and blue side, through Andrew Johns, put it down to Luke Phillips to come away from his 10-metre line, and the run ending out on the 20.
Coaches tend to pull something different out in finals football. That time a very uncharacteristic set of 6 by the Newcastle Knights. Warren Ryan, 5 runs out of dummy half before a kick by Andrew Johns, just to let the Roosters know not to sprint up too quickly in defence. Will gnaw away at you from the dummy half area.
Completions very, very high for Newcastle. Almost impeccable.
I also think it's really important to come up with a good set of 6 after you've put points on the board. They did that well. Solomon, who's been a bit of a handful since coming into this game not so long ago. Spins out of a tackle. Last now against Fittler. He kicks outside the 40. And McDougall allows it to bounce.
Kennedy continues to work. Little things that go unnoticed a lot. Going up on Fittler, putting pressure on the kick. Running decoys, all that sort of stuff.
Well, Ray, we highlighted the battle of the halves here tonight. I think one of the other great confrontations is Kennedy and Fletcher. 2 fantastic second rowers. Both State of Origin teammates, as Parsons takes it 45 out from his own line.
Now Parsons, of course, went from South to Newcastle. And a contrasting end to his season. 99 as opposed to the year 2000. Matthew Johns only gaining a couple of metres, and the markers take care of him on tackle number 5 for his brother. And it's a little chip and a chase, and Gidley's after it. The bounce is important, and it's come down for Adrian Lamb. 25 out on the western side of the ground. As they run it across to Hegarty, and Hegarty looked to be taken a shade high.
I thought David Fairley should have been penalised for a second tackle on Adrian Lamb. They had to play on as the Roosters go wide. A chance here if they can get on the outside. They have with Fletcher.
So they head across to Minicello's wing.
Got forward pass, Ray.
Forward pass called by Bill Harrigan. Back inside the 40-metre line. So again, the Roosters have hit the right side. Newcastle's left defence.
It's a perfect example of the up and in defence by Newcastle, and the Roosters chancing their hand. Look how they sprint up there on the edge, and Fletcher just able to do a little in and away and get behind the line. And if you come up and in defence, you've got to make sure you don't go past the ball. That pass there was ruled forward by referee Harrigan. A narrow call. Ryan Cross was away. The Roosters chancing their arm at their own end of the field. Come up short again this time.
They're a dangerous combination, Cross and Hegarty. They've both scored 17 tries for the year. Total of 34 centres, 34 tries emanating from the centre partnership for the Sydney Roosters. So Newcastle again. Last time the Roosters nearly scored, they came back and scored almost immediately. Will they do it again? Peter Shields finding McDougall. And he gets it away, down on his knees as he passed it. And Matthew Johns will play it now. Buderus just getting the jumper back on. Then Andrew Johns inside ball. Fairley. So close. Adjacent to the uprights. Buderus fires it. Andrew Johns, Matthew Gidley. Gidley flick passes, Darren Albert. The Gidley-Albert combination, a famous combination. Gidley again. Wide for Andrew Johns. He puts it across for the left hand. This will be a draw. They bobbed it. Now the Roosters pick it up. Ryan Cross goes down the ground. And Bill Harrigan has called it back. There looked to be total indecision, total hesitation.
Well, I think he's got the Roosters here for a knock-on, Ray. I believe. No, in fact, yes, we are. We're going back to a line dropout. I think the chasers were offside from Newcastle anyway.
There seemed to be a breakdown of communication between the touch judge and Bill Harrigan.
And if Peter Shields picks that football up, it would have been a try.
Well, there's no doubt that Minicello's knocked that ball on. So too did the Newcastle player. Bill Harrigan looked to his touch judge, who did stop in the background. He was sure that Minicello had knocked it on. Bill Harrigan wasn't so sure, kept up with the play. But in the end, communication between the linesman and the referee has come up with the right decision. More pressure for the Roosters.
Stay onside, kick behind the line.
And so far, they've had no luck at all, the Sydney Roosters.
Particularly frustrating night for Ryan Cross so far. He's been, oh, McDougall!
McDougall to the 20-metre line. Buderus waits. Parsons big and strong, eventually pulled down by Fletcher. Buderus then, Andrew Johns. Now it's Tony Butterfield. Butterfield is taken by Craig Ring, who's on in jumper number 17. And then Matthew Johns just scoops it away for Buderus to be taken by Solomona. Fourth tackle gone. Newcastle close. Matthew Johns, a stepping run, ending a metre from the line. Danny Buderus. Wide for Andrew Johns. He puts a kick in off the outside edge of the boot. A chance here to get back for the Roosters, but no. Line dropout, second best result for Newcastle.
He may not have got back in the field of play, but gee, he did a good job, Minicello. A tough ball to pick up on the fly. Rubber kick again from Andrew Johns. Just look at the winger come across. He was at speed. And the chase from Butterfield and Buderus there to finish him off.
27 minutes gone. 6-2 Newcastle. Just the one try with Tahu playing it just outside the Roosters 20-metre line. They've had a lot of territory. They've had a lot of opportunities, Newcastle. I'm just wondering if they're starting to worry about the scoreboard. As Kennedy gets away. Kennedy pulled down about 7 metres out from the line. They're in familiar territory. Andrew Johns is over. Did he drop the ball? That's the question. Andrew thinks that he has scored right next to the uprights.
Well, I thought Danny Buderus might be the man scoring from dummy half close to the line. But Andrew Johns is of the belief that he has got their second try. Quick play of the ball. He saw a gap. He gets close. Slams it down. That's a try. I'm still of the belief that, no, it was a try.
It is a green light.
Although Andrew Johns is very relieved. He had his doubts.
He certainly had his poker face on the first time then. He gets out of dummy half here, plays on a little bit of tired defence and slams it down. And when he got up, he was so confident in his reaction. Once he was awarded the try, I saw a little bit of relief there.
You can see, sorry Phil, You could see that he saw David Solomona just a little bit slow up off the ground. Craig Wing lost balance as well, so he picked his time to go. And that helps enormously, as you pointed out, Ray. They had some, I don't know about opportunities, but they'd been down in a position to score tries. And they would have been disappointed if they hadn't have built a bigger lead than this with 10 to go.
So Andrew Johns converts his own try, a try that took him past his own record. He set the club record for most points in a season at 194 in 1995 for the Knights. And tonight, with that try, it has taken him past that record for the season. Andrew Voss on the sideline. Firstly, what's the story on Ian Rubin?
Yeah, well, Ray, right at the moment, the Roosters bench rotation is down to 2. Ian Rubin has been suffering from a bit of concussion and a bit of blurred vision. They were going to give him another 5 minutes before sending him out there. So they've only got the 2 fresh troops at the moment to interchange.
11 minutes out from the break. And I know it probably sounds crazy, but 12-2, I still think Newcastle will be thinking, gee, we haven't really got enough out of this so far.
I agree with you, Ray. I think they're a little bit out of sorts in attack just with the week off. It sometimes finds you a little bit of time to find your legs. Their 2 tries in that amount of possession isn't like the Newcastle Knights. The Roosters were doing particularly well. They do have to be next to score in this final.
Andrew Johns across halfway, forever probing. 19 minutes in opposition half, enjoyed by Newcastle, more than double the time for Sydney Roosters in the opposition's area.
I must admit, I don't often do it, but I totally disagree with you both. I think they are setting up the victory. They are showing patience tonight, but sometimes they haven't in the past. They're prepared to take more one-out forward running to set the platform. I think they're playing perfect finals football.
Please don't apologise if you want to disagree at any time.
Just don't write the Roosters off yet.
Oh, I haven't done that.
Solomona putting it down for Adrian Lamb. And they are 40 metres away. Solomona slow to rise. As Fittler now throws a long ball. Maybe this time for Ryan Cross. Cross sprinting down the right. That was forward to Fitzgibbon. It's been called back again on Ryan Cross. He'll be thinking, heavens above, I'll go back to bed and get out the other side.
The Roosters are never dead while they've got Brad Fittler and Ryan Cross down this right-hand side of the field. Watch this for a pass. That is absolutely sensational. Minicello can't quite get in right position. He falls over a Newcastle player there, ends up on offside. Ryan Cross did extremely well to get a ball back in field, but just couldn't get it travelling backwards. The Roosters have got some points in them.
He must have walked under a ladder or had a black cat step in his path, Ryan Cross.
Absolutely, Peter. The only good thing about all of that is we had no doubts that that pass was forward.
I've got to give a rap to Mark Hughes too. If he didn't get a handful of jersey of Ryan Cross, they score pretty much untouched as Butterfield takes it 25 out. Danger time now, final 10 minutes.
Kennedy. He was late out for the warm-up. Newcastle warmed up in front of the crowd, and it was noticeable that they had no Ben Kennedy. He was late coming out, and I would suspect some needles to get him through the game. Butterfield back to the bench as the ball goes away for Andrew Johns, and he grubber kicks, and it's down inside the 10. Then Luke Phillips throws the dummy before taking the tackle. Dangerous place to start passing the ball. Minicello's there, and he comes away now out to the 20-metre line, tackled by Rahihi and by Fairley. Now Bonetti and Lamb combined. The pass from Lamb right on the line, and taken down is Matt Singh on this left flank. It's been on the other side of the ground that they've looked more potent though, and they've lost the ball, but it's a penalty to Sydney Roosters.
Yeah, well, I think we're in for a treat here tonight. Newcastle got a good lead on the scoreboard, but the Roosters look as though they're not going to die wondering. Moving the ball from side to side, their ball players getting their hands on the football as much as possible. And a little strip there from Newcastle gives them a tremendous opportunity to come down into attacking areas. Two great attacking teams are going to go head-to-head here for the next 50 minutes.
Yeah, you feel as though the Roosters just building up to something now. This is going to be an important set of 6. And if they can somehow force consecutive sets, it could be a very difficult time for Newcastle in defence.
One pass towards the centre of the ground for Cusack. Ruben is back on, then Craig Wing. And now Craig Fitzgibbon, 32 metres away from the line. Back for Adrian Lamb. They're going to hit the blind side, and Lamb came back, made a liar of me, took on the markers. Wing at first receiver. Nice pass, finding Fittler. Inside ball, Fletcher. And the 20-metre line. Newcastle's in. Seldom have they seen it legally. Ruben. Been there plenty of times, but they've been recalled for forward passes. Lamb on the last. A bit of a dust-up in back play. We'll come back to that. It's Hegarty getting it away. And it's Singer puts a kick in. Newcastle clean up. Peter Shields. A bit of a disagreement. Ben Kennedy and Simon Bonetti from memory.
Yeah, some great football down the left-hand side here. Not the most conventional way to get a line drop out. Brad Fittler had to go back for that ball. Look at that bullet-like pass across the face of his teammates. Singh, instead of going for the corner, put a little kick in, and it's good enough to get a perfect result. The line drop out. Gee, that was a good ball by Brad Fittler. Left of the field, right of the field. He's picking out these centres, and they are making inroads into the Newcastle defence.
Fittler waits for the line drop out. It's a good kick. It went 50 metres exactly. Ruben winds it up and did well to get it back 19 metres from where he took the ball. Fletcher probing down the right side. Now they come back to the left. Lamb to Fittler. Fittler inside the 30-metre line, and he's pulled down by Matthew Johns. Matthew thought that he might have lost the ball. Made an appeal. It was turned down. Fitzgibbon gets it away for Bonetti. And Simon will play it now. 25 away from the Newcastle line. Craig Wing, Ian Ruben. Ruben taken by Sean Rudder eventually. 19 out, 5 tackles. Will they go to the air?
Should have been a penalty there to Ian Ruben. Pushed down by Rudder as Wing.
And confidently picked up by Darren Albert. He will play it 9 metres out from his line.
Thought they were a bit hard done by there, Ray. I really thought that Ian Ruben was pushed back down on the last tackle by Sean Rudder.
So Newcastle with Mark Hughes, who got one of their 2 tries. Andrew Johns got the other. Mark scored at the 7th minute. Shields now. First preliminary final, live on the 9 network, and then live again tomorrow from Stadium Australia. Parramatta versus Brisbane. Rahihi got it away. Andrew Johns away. Matthew Gidley's over the halfway. Darren Albert goes inside. Now he's outside. Gidley goes down the right side. Puts in a kick. Andrew Johns is after it. Ryan Cross is there. He runs away from Andrew Johns, and they are forced in goal.
I hope we can get the signal here from Andrew Johns in field for Gidley to kick that ball. Electrifying football by the Knights. Rahihi, good footwork. He gets out the back. Hegarty nearly got an intercept. Now watch Andrew Johns on the inside. As soon as Gidley gets to the outside, he'll head towards the post with his hand in the air. Kick for me. And as Peter Sterling said before the game, they got telepathic communication, these Newcastle Knights. Ryan Cross did extremely well here. Couldn't get back into the field to play. That's just what the Newcastle Knights are capable of if they get a bit of room to move and some second phase play.
So the dropout is not good. Eventually it bounces around, taking up some time. And Rahihi. Matthew Johns has just got a little problem with his left eye. As his teammates now try to launch a raid that will lead them to a try before half-time.
He's having a blinder, Danny Badeiras.
Simpson passing from dummy half. Andrew Johns away to the back for Rudder. Rudder is put down 6 metres out from the line. Now Sean Rudder plays it back for Ben Kennedy. Kennedy goes to the short side. They've got numbers there. It's unloaded by Peter Shields. It's gone to ground. And the Roosters with it. 10 away from their own line. Dallas Hood in jumper number 14. Ruben. Three-man tackle waiting for Ruben to put him away. Benetti passing and finding Fletcher, and Fletcher's pass for Craig Wing. He did well. Matthew Gidley was waiting for him, and Wing was able to catch and still get away. Time in opposition half. Those figures, they really haven't altered that much, have they? It's been a dominating Newcastle Knights. But still that scoreboard is only 12-2 in their favour. McDougall, who took a shot earlier of Robbie O'Davis. This Newcastle side would have to be the best side they've got, bar O'Davis. But McDougall, of course, has relished the term at full back. Minute and 3/4 to half-time. And Shields able to take the tackle, get it away. Badiris there, Andrew Johns gives it away. Matthew Gidley goes down the right. Albert's there, Albert goes down the right, and then comes away on the inside.
Craig Wing, I think, will call out here, Ray. Clumsy shot, caught Albert high.
Gidley, I thought he gave the ball just a little too early to Darren Albert. He'll step back inside here. Craig Wing coming across the top there, didn't need for that high shot there. He has connected. Gidley just didn't give him enough time on the outside. Matty Singh covered up pretty well. And Craig Wing coming back across field, collected him high. Now this is the most important minute 18 in the Roosters season so far. I would be very surprised if the Newcastle Knights don't try to put them to sleep here with a try before half-time. They've got to aim up for one set of 6 if they're a hope of winning this game. The Roosters must aim up in this next 6 tackles.
Here we go. Time's on. Hold.
Danny Badiris taking the tap. And Andrew Johns goes back down the right side with Gidley. Gidley for Albert, he's over. And Albert is in. A familiar combination. Andrew Johns and Darren Albert, punctuated by Matthew Gidley. And Albert has scored. Shades of 97. And it was the double pump of Johns and Albert.
It's a planned move as we freeze it there. You can see that they tried to get this man caught up, and they did, and that allowed Gidley to put Albert down the sideline. That was a planned move. Andrew Johns was selling that a forward was coming off him to the left. He dropped back. They picked out a man in defence. It was Shannon Hegarty. They targeted him. They went to him. They got Gidley on the outside. Matt Singh had to come in. Saloon passage for the try scorer.
As long as I've known Warren Ryan, which is a long time, he loves little short side plays in big games.
Johns then, and he's missed it, pushed it out to the left of the uprights. So at half-time, it is 16-2.
I don't think this game's over yet. The Roosters won't feel that way, and I'm sure the Knights don't feel that way either.
So the Roosters running from left to right. Andrew will be back from the sheds in just a moment. It'll be interesting to see if there's any good news, particularly for Luke Ricketson. He did a hamstring very early in the game. And here's Butterfield making a tremendous contribution early. Tackle 42 metres out from his own line for Fairley to jump on the back. To jump on the back of a tremendous run by Butterfield. Down to the 40-metre line they go. Andrew and Matthew combine. Andrew passing for Ben Kennedy. Kennedy taken down by Ruben. Now they're 32 metres away from the line as Badiris steers them back towards the centre of the ground for David Fairley on tackle number 5. And again from Badiris, it's with Andrew Johns. He steps around Brian Fletcher, puts a grubbing kick back inside the 10-metre line where Minicello it is that is marked and put away deep in his own end of the football stadium. Andrew's back now. Andrew from the dressing sheds.
Well, firstly on the Roosters, Luke Ricketson definitely not back tonight because of that torn hamstring. Graham Murray, very briefly, he just said you've got to believe your luck will turn in this match. We've had a lot of close calls go against us. We did get them earlier this year. He reminded his team of the round 9 clash. They scored 2 tries in the final 5 minutes to win, so there's still hope in the Roosters camp. From the Newcastle side of things, Ray, Warren Ryan very, very happy. He just thought the first 15 minutes of this half was going to be vital. And I'll give you an insight into Andrew Johns. At half-time, just before they went back out, he's in the dressing room. He's screaming with delight. It's yahooing. It's not arrogance. It's not a player getting complacent. It is a player who just loves his football. He's loving nights like this.
Kick from Brad Fittler, miles too deep. Rocketing across the dead ball line, so they bring it back now for the 20-metre restart for the Knights. And they don't worry too much how long it takes. Time is very much on their side, as is the scoreboard by 14 points.
Very interested to see how the Newcastle Knights handle this second half. My criticism of them this year is they don't graft out the tough wins. Unless they can do it their way, they don't do it at all. Interesting to see if Warren Ryan's had an effect on them in the preparation for this finals game.
Ben Kennedy now. Almost getting it to halfway for Badeiras to pass away for David Fairley, and both Butterfield and Fairley have really made some indentations with some strong runs in the early minutes of the second half. Badeiras has been great out of dummy half. Matthew Johns, and on tackle 5 he will play the ball 32 metres away from the line as they come down the western side, and Andrew puts a kick in that finds touch. It almost became suspended permanently. And here it is, with Anthony Minicello having the job of making up his mind. What do I do? Do I wait? Do I wait? Yes, I'll wait. I'll take the gamble. He took the even money and it came out okay for him, but that's what it was. It was yours for theirs. 10 metres out then, loose head feed, Sydney Roosters, and they hit the blind side with Minicello. And Tahu was waiting for him with Andrew Johns, who loves defence as much as he likes attack. Fletcher. Ryan playing it on his own 20-metre line. Ryan Cross, who's been away down the right side so many times, but he's been recalled for forward passes and the like on at least 3 or 4 occasions.
And Ray, the first penalty in this second half would be quite important. So far we've just seen both teams work away their 6, making good grounds. But all of a sudden, if somebody can just get an extra set of 6 and pick up 30 or 40 metres from a penalty kick, might just swing the momentum as Fittler forced to kick inside his 40, straight to Tahu.
Talking of the first penalty of the second half, I thought it might have been forthcoming as you were talking. Matt Parsons, I thought, went in with a second tackle, which brought a groan from the Roosters crowd, and quite rightly too, I thought. Here's Ben Kennedy now in a struggling run that ends in the centre of the park, 40 metres out, his own line. Nearest to him, and this is Fairley now to the halfway. The smoke-free final series in its 3rd weekend, preliminary finals. And there's nothing better than sudden death. That pass went backwards from McDougall. And no restart of the tackle count, played by Butterfield. And now Parsons takes it down the centre of the ground to be just there outside the 30-metre line on tackle 5. And Andrew Johns puts a kick grubbing across into the corner, guarded by Minicello. And they hit him in defence, Kennedy and Hughes. So they've really pumped away at Minicello in the opening minutes of the second half. A crawling contribution then from Phillips. And now Matt Singh. 16-2, 3 tries to nothing. As Fittler gets the ball on the bounce, the big fellow needs better service than that. Adrian Lamb, a quick run out of dummy half. Simple play by the Roosters, carries them beyond the 40-metre line, their own end. And now the boot is Brad Fittler, trying to get the play down the other end of the park. And McDougall helps that pause. He's back at his own line.
As I said earlier in the game, he was convinced he'd get a fumble out of him. McDougall did well to face his own in-goal and drop it backwards. Brad Fittler still peppering him with a lot of kicks, hoping for a result.
Newcastle spreading it wide early. They've gone out to the speed on the right with Albert, one of the 3 try scorers, and then Gidley. One of the stars of the future, one of the stars of the present, I suppose you'd have to say. As centres go in Australia these days, he's really right up there with the best of them. Gidley and Girdler. Parsons now to the 40-metre line. The big fellow labouring away.
Been a good job in defence, that set of 6 from the Roosters. As Andrew Johns sports to kick inside his 40 now. Luke Phillips will bring the ball back into pretty good field position on the first tackle.
Chase is keen. Matthew Johns went in awkwardly. Kennedy over the top made the major tackle. Now Minicello. And he will play it on the second tackle inside the 40-metre line. 16-2. And 6.5 minutes gone. Second half. Fletcher able to stand, looking to unload, but a lot of red and blue jumpers around him. Fittler, I'm told, might have a groin problem. And here's Brad with the kick, and then he goes, oh dear. Not you again. Let's him play that ball. He played it rather gingerly. As Lamb's kick is down on the line for McDougall to bring it back. Adam swerving around a fallen Ian Rubin. And then he beats Cusack, who also lost his footing. And McDougall yet to really put an imprint on the game. Johns, Andrew, scooting run away from dummy half. And then Badeiras pushes Gidley out to the right. Gidley with the ball. And Peden's on his outside. Now he's on his inside. Albert's on his outside. And they're a couple of metres down on Roosters' side of halfway. Butterfield. Great service out of dummy half from Badeiras. I mentioned that earlier. He's always there. Gets it going professionally. Answers the call of the playmakers. Puts the ball on their chest. And that kick looks to be too deep, although it's angling across. It's made Minicello play at it. He's gone again. And there's the defence of Newcastle bringing the crowd to their feet.
It's been a tremendous start in the second half here. Both of these sides carry thrust. Andrew Johns, the banana kick there. Just have a look at this battle out wide. Two young men, Minicello, Tahu. World Championship Wrestling. And young Newcastle flyer forces him back.
Bill Peden taking his time, making sure that he's got ball security as he takes it back. And there's the ball coming out. Bill Harrigan penalises Peden. Newcastle penalised for not taking it back with the foot.
Yeah, the dominant tackle, he planted the ball, Butts.
Referee saying it was a dominant tackle. He planted the ball before he got up. See the Newcastle player with the ball on the ground before he got to his feet. And could this be the change of luck Graham Murray spoke to his team about at half-time? Oh, a poor kick from Craig Wing. Obviously, Brad Fittler couldn't kick for touch on that occasion. But a penalty in possession could help the Roosters' cause here.
Cusack now. Parsons just under the scrutiny of the trainers. Lamb able to unload. Fittler's with it on the 40-metre line. Calls Fitzgibbon on his inside. Parsons with some ice on a thigh muscle. Craig Wing. Fittler is not 100%. That's been confirmed by that line kick taken by Craig Wing. He's damaged a groin, it would seem. And then Lamb. Fittler back and across for Luke Phillips to go down the right side. He puts a grubbing kick in behind. Minicello's there for the bounce. Minicello gets the ball inside. And away goes Phillips. Phillips is over. Roosters strike back.
And a great try it was too. Tremendous vision there with the little kick deliberately in behind. It's been a wonderful 10 minutes to start this second half.
Good work, again working on the up and in defence of the Newcastle Knights. Minicello, who's been peppered by kicks from Newcastle all night, picks up one from the Roosters and sends Phillips on their way. And 16-8, we now have a ball game and a real shot in the arm for the Roosters' cause.
So 16-6 does become 16-8. And it can only get better. We've got a real game in our hands here. Tomorrow will certainly be no exception. So now it's an 8-point break. 14 becomes 8. The Roosters on the climb back. Cusack.
Yeah, momentum can swing in these types of games. Roosters with a bit of wind in their sails now. If they can get a couple of repeat sets of 6, take up some field position. They've shown they've got the ability to score tries. It's up to the Knights now to stiffen their defence and meet the challenge.
Oh, a little juggle there by Dallas Hood. right on the halfway line. As Fittler puts this kick down the ground, again into the in goal. It looks a mile too big. But then again, well, he's put his hands on his head, Brad. He's not happy with it. I was just thinking to myself that he was quite happy to have a 20-metre tap, get our line set, work for a mistake. Butterfield comes off. But no, Brad was disappointed with his kick. Twice in the second half he's done that. 16-8 as the big men for Newcastle. Steer, the juggernaut, up the middle. That's Simpson. I've been talking about the crowd tonight, and oh, intercepted, and it is Brad. He's away inside the 10. He's there. Try for Brad Fittler. Fittler intercepts, and the Roosters are back.
And you could see it coming. They've been quite content in the opening stages of this second half, just to take the ball fairly comfortably. This time, as we freeze it there, you can see Brad Fittler. He comes up out of the line. He can read that something is happening as play continues. He swoops. And a very soft try at finals time. And all of a sudden, in the space of a couple of minutes, this game is turned upside down.
Is that the way it's going to be again? Almost in front, Fitzgibbon converts. It's a 2-point margin in the preliminary final as we break. Peter Sterling summed it up. In the space of a couple of minutes, this game has been turned upside down. And won't they get some drive, the Roosters, from the incidents of the last couple of minutes? The tiredness that was probably foremost in their mind will be gone. 16-14. The Novocastrians are in front, but shakily. They're rocking and rolling. Solomona, the ball is out to Minicello. Minicello's got McDougall to beat. Here comes Ryan Cross. He draws the fullback. Cross is away. And Cross, at long last, will get a try. 3 tries in about 3 minutes. An amazing turnaround.
Bill Harrigan will want to look at the pass here on the outside, but the Roosters again take on the up and in defence of the Newcastle Knights. They were denied 3 times in the first half with forward passes, but as this time, have they got the result? Here's the pass from Solomona. It's gone past the outstretched hand of Tahu. He knew he was in trouble. Well, the ball may well have floated forward, but did it go backwards from the hands? That's the question Ray Warren asked earlier in the game.
This, I think it'll be green. It is green. We have a new leader. We have a new leader. 16-2 down.
And
under 15 minutes ago, Peter, and now it's 18-16 the other way.
And Warren Ryan would be asking Tamana Tahu what he was doing 15 metres in. He really gave a soft run on the outside to Minicello if the pass was delivered. Craig Wink's done pretty well in this game. Solomona, a lovely ball. He's a man who runs the football beautifully, but he's got a good passing game, Solomona. We've seen it on plenty of times throughout this year. And Ryan Cross, well, if you believe that there is some karma, Ryan Cross deserves that.
So Ryan Cross, when he saw the board show the green try, he was a relieved young man. So too was David Solomona, for that matter. Craig Fitzgibbon from right in front. 1-6-6 for the season for Craig. He came down from St George Illawarra to join the Sydney Roosters. He converts. We go to another break. This is the 9 Networks Rugby League coverage. 20 points to 16 in one of the most miraculous turnarounds I've ever seen. I suppose when I think about that, I've only got to go back to Parramatta v Canterbury a couple of years ago. Exactly, I don't have to go back too far at all. Ruben brings it back. Ruben refuses to lie down. Now he has to.
They're pumped up, the Roosters, at the moment. Now
4-point margin in favour of the Roosters. What a turnaround, Phil.
Yeah, and on the back of another penalty, the Roosters will be pumped up. Interesting to see their attitude now. They've finally got to the front by being aggressive with the football, chancing their hand down the edges. A holding down penalty as Newcastle start to panic a little bit at what's just gone on in the last 10 minutes. Will the Roosters keep chancing their arm down the edges, or will they say, well, we're in front, let's play a little bit steadier?
I know that there are many turning points in a game of rugby league, but mark down the Billy Peden, play the ball, not getting to his feet. Instead of attacking down on the line, we've seen 3 tries follow that in the space of 6 or 8 minutes.
This is Dallas Hood under that tackle, and he plays it 48 metres away from the Newcastle line, which has become familiar. Unlike the first half, they've been there 3 times. I think I said in 3 minutes. I might have been exaggerating, but that's the way it has felt. Craig Wing plays the ball 30 metres away again from the Newcastle line as Lamb just hesitates and pumps it back on the inside to Fletcher, and Fletcher back on the inside again, and played there by fullback Luke Phillips. Wing away for Lamb. Lamb puts a little kick in. Ryan Cross will get it over the line. No, loses it. Oh, I thought it was on again. He's ordered the turnover. Knock on against Ryan Cross. He had every opportunity.
Well, Tamana Tahu, he's having all sorts of problems. This time he slipped over. And great try-saving effort there from Andrew Johns.
So Newcastle come away from their own line. Andrew from the bench. The news for Newcastle, not good.
Yeah, Ray, just to emphasise how the luck has turned now. Peter Shields is out there with a back injury. He's also limping now. He's had a painkiller in his back. So the luck has turned. Matt Parsons is not 100% fit either with a thigh injury. And how prophetic the words now of Warren Ryan at half-time. He said the first 15 minutes of this half will be vital. And look, Ryan Cross, when he went across the line, 15 minutes and 5 seconds gone, and the Roosters were in front.
Johns then puts it between Minicello and Luke Phillips. Phillips waving his arms about like a traffic cop, pointing Minicello to where he wants him to be. And then he goes to dummy half before unloading for Matt Singh. And he runs into Matt Parsons to be put down with him, by him and Rahihi. And then Fletcher. And Peter Shields, his season looking very, very precarious at the moment. Solomona, the ball tucked under a wing and then cheekily looking to unload it. And then Dallas Hood pumping it back inside for Riggin and Solomona is able to unload for Craig Wing to dance around David Fairley to the 40-metre line. Badeiros making the tackle. Newcastle have just got to slow them down. They are so confident now, the Roosters. They're really getting on top. 3 tries to lead 20-16. And it's going out to the 20-metre line.
Yeah, some of the crowd, probably the Rooster supporters, thought that ball may have stopped. Adam McDougall must have just got it while it was continuing in motion. Can't leave it any longer.
Well, this dominance of possession by the Roosters in the last 15 minutes has really taken its toll on the Newcastle Knights. You've got to start to worry now, after all the defence that they've done, whether they've got the energy to mount an attack when they get the ball. Very lethargic getting up to take that 20-metre restart.
This is Sean Rudder. Play in the centre of the field. Simpson. Are we watching the final game for Tony Butterfield? Matthew Johns and several of the stars from Newcastle that are heading for England to complete their rugby league careers. Long ball bouncing, and then McDougall puts a kick on it, and Cusack dives on it for the Roosters. Minicello now.
It's a real sign of tiredness, Ray, not being able to find your key kicker on tackle 5. Threw that ball right past Matthew and Andrew Johns. McDougall was lucky to get his foot with the ball at all.
So the time in opposition half is starting to balance up. It's still drastically in favour of Newcastle, but it's balancing.
I do think Newcastle are becoming very vulnerable to a chip kick or a little kick in behind once again. We've already seen 1 try in that fashion. I wouldn't be surprised at some stage in this last 20 minutes that they try it again.
There's Adrian Lamb with this little kick over the top. McDougall losing his footing back there, just into the field of play. Now Darren Albert folds in to take some of the pressure away. Forwards taking a long time to get back there. 5-4 the line breaks to the Roosters. Hughes. David Fairley. 30-metre line. Andrew Johns kicking for himself, looking for the regather. He gets the regather. They link up on his inside. Oh! Sean Rudder put down.
Luke Phillips.
Phillips has hit him with a corker of a tackle.
He has hit him with one of the best tackles we've seen all year. He has hit him with a tackle that might just get away this preliminary final. He took the odds of leaving Andrew Johns early and going for the support player, and he clobbered him.
This is a man, Luke Phillips, who's playing with pain-killing injections. He injured his ribs last week. That is the tackle of the season.
The Broncos will be loving this. Gordon Tallis and company.
They'd love a draw. They'd love extra time. They want them to stay out there all night.
Lamb. Adrian deciding to go to the line, and then he decided I might have a shot here. It failed. Craig Wing. Fittler steering Solomona into dummy half, and he waits on the right, the captain, and then puts it in the air. It's a big, big bomb, and allowed to bounce. It's back for McDougall. McDougall heads off towards Albert, and McDougall has taken down 25 out from his own line. Might have been interesting had he got a pass on the outside to Albert there. We know the Newcastle speedster to be one of the fastest men in the game. Fairley. For Newcastle. Peter Shields, I thought the worst for him as they come down the left side and they put it down. Tahu and a cello for the Roosters with the ball. Fitzgibbon. That's Riggin.
Well, Andrew Voss, in the first half, we heard plenty of chants of Newcastle. The Roosters crowd making plenty of dives.
They're outside him again, Peter! It's Matt Singh down the left flank, turns it in, Hegarty, he's there! Another try!
Well, Brad Fittler is now picking them to pieces. The first half, no joy, but the second half, the same kind of attack is now, it's raining points out there. This was a chance for the Newcastle Knights. Tamana Tahu couldn't take advantage of good inside work here from Mark Hughes. He got him on the outside of Minicello. Should have caught that football. And in the next set of 6, Fittler gets the football now. He frees it there. That's Darren Albert. He's the widest man. Look at Matt Singh. He has got 15 metres to work in as play continues. No doubt about that pass. And on the inside, Hegarty, Fittler lining up. Pass wasn't particularly good from Hegarty, but he had the momentum to get across the 18th time this year.
Yeah, we highlighted this at half-time. Brad Fittler was going to take on this Newcastle up and in defence. A few times in the first half, he got outside them with no result. But this time, in the second half, they've done it with grubber kicks. They've done it with long passes. And Singh and Hegarty have got their reward down the left-hand side of the field. He saw McDougall coming across. He waited. He got it back inside behind Hegarty, who showed tremendous strength to pull his way to the line. And now an important conversion kick. Looks like Luke Phillips is going to take the kick, or is it Fitzgibbon?
Well, Phil, if this is an example of up and in defence, it's a pretty poor example. They have peppered them. They could have been in 3 tries in the first half. They've been in 4 times in the second half. They've got outside the defence. They have dropped off in their defensive work. And an incredible turnaround. 15 in, 20 out for Fitzgibbon. And on its way through the lights, it's there. Another converted try. 26-16. It was 16-2, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Voss.
Oh, this is unbelievable, Ray. I'll tell you who had the biggest smile on his face as Shannon Hegarty went across the line. It's that man on screen, Arthur Beetson, the recruitment manager. Shannon Hegarty from Mackay, just a handful of first-grade matches before this year. Look at his tally now. He's played almost the full season in first grade this year and 18 tries.
So, Newcastle getting the ball back from the restart. They went shallow and they got it back.
Obviously, I was talking about the crowd before that Brad Fittler pass. They are rising to the occasion for the Roosters, making plenty of noise and maybe not outnumbered 4-1 tonight.
Oh, look, I'm in an army of Newcastle fans beside me. I'm looking at their faces now. Their heart has stopped. Their hearts collectively have stopped watching this one, down by 10. They were in front by 14.
Butterfield on the 20-metre line, centre ground. 33,727, the official attendance. Now on the fifth tackle. Scooped up by Badiris and then back for Butterfield, then away, and it's out to Andrew Johns after Simpson had handled. Now it's with Gidley. Grubber kicks into the end goal, and it'll be a line drop out. So Newcastle will get a chance. One of the rare chances in the second half.
It's the second time in this second 40 minutes Danny Badiris has found a forward on fifth tackle. They get out of it simply through their own skill. Johns knew to go to Gidley, and Gidley got it in behind the line. The Roosters covered it up. You would have to think if the Knights are going to get back into this contest, they're going to have to come up with a try in this little stanza of play as they get a repeat set of 6.
So down. Simpson to go striding back. Matt Parsons has had a change of jumper, I'm told. He's now wearing jumper number 18. As Kennedy struggles to... Oh, they almost lifted over the horizontal. Put him down, then Simpson. 33,700, the official crowd. Great crowd. And though they might be outnumbered, the Roosters fans, they're very vocal now. Andrew Johns is 12 away. If they score here, they will lift, they will come back. Peden, hammering defence by Fittler. He's built like a front row forward. He puts Peden away. Now Andrew, now Matthew, and to the 10-metre line.
I think they've got to run one this way, Ray.
He does that, long ball for Mark Hughes. Now that's come off the feet and the hands of the Roosters. And Bill is turning it over.
Yeah, not played out by the Roosters. And I must say that even though he's the least experienced of the 4 coaches in charge over this weekend, Graham Murray has done a great job. He's shown himself to be a master tactician. Actually, I think Ryan Cross did put the foot out there. I think he did deliberately play at that.
And it's nice that a few things are going their way in this second half. The Roosters now 10 minutes away from a grand final. Been so close in recent times. Finally, Graham Murray's troops look as though they can nail it.
Played here by Rigon. Now for Solomona. And on the halfway line, he's flung down by Bill Peden. Now from Bonetti for Fittler, and Fittler, he knows he's got them. 10 minutes to go. He's got a 10-point break. Now get down there after this kick and nail them down there. Simple instructions as McDougall is put away. Gidley, fairly, wasn't expecting it. Still he did well to get it out to the 20-metre line before he plays it back for Badiris to send Butterfield to the defence line again. A great warrior he's been for Newcastle. He's been there all the time. Matthew Johns and then Bill Peden. Again Fittler. Never mind about his attack. He's really hit them with some very heavy defence, particularly in the last couple of minutes. Here he is. Turning him over, dropping him on his back. And it's a penalty to Newcastle.
Well, the Roosters knew what happened the last time Andrew Johns chip kicked for himself. They made sure they got in his way. They've conceded the penalty. It could have saved a very dangerous situation. The Knights have to score in this set of 6. The Roosters repel them to win the game.
Rahihi had the ball free. He's looking for runners. runners that weren't there. Now the Knights with Butterfield hammering it inside the 10. 10-point margin. Matthew Johns back for Danny Badeiros. Badeiros across the back for Andrew Johns. Likewise, Mark Hughes. Now, Tahu, he's in! Tahu's there!
Well, the game is not over. And a big kick coming up, a planned move again from the Newcastle Knights with 8 minutes left. Took advantage of the penalty after Andrew Johns was fouled. A shoulder charge from a man just impeding him. Goes to the right, back deliberately, and as we freeze it there, you can see players in motion. Ben Kennedy's important, and they get a second man coming around. And as play continues, that gives them the overlap. Johns cut out pass. Hughes was able to get outside cross. That put Tahu outside Minicello. That gave them just enough space in the corner.
Yeah, we can see what the Newcastle Knights were doing at their weekend off. They're working on set plays. They've come up with 3 tries from set pieces tonight. A little bit of inexperience there on Minicello. Just gave him a little too much space on the outside. Johns kicks. It's away.
So 6 points the margin. 26-20. 7.5 minutes to go. Andrew Voss sideline.
Just a little interesting sidelight to that battle on the Newcastle left wing. Tamana Tahu against Minicello. They were actually junior Kangaroo teammates at the end of last year, and I think you'll find they were roommates, so they built up quite a friendship. Yet here they are tonight, arch enemies, and they really have had a battle. Tamana Tahu chalks one up with a 4-pointer there.
Bill Harrigan stopping the clock. Harrigan retiring way out to the sideline just to make sure that everybody stays behind the kicker. Gives him an enormous run, Bill Harrigan, as referee, to get over there to that play the ball. He's got to get back there as quickly as he can. Back to the 10-metre line for the defence. So Newcastle need a converted try, and they've got 6 3/4 minutes to do it in. Then that would only bring them a draw. Rauhihi, 32 metres away from the line. Newcastle fighting for their lives. Halfway line. Matthew Johns, he kicks, and was Andrew taken out? He was. It's a penalty to the Knights. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, Shannon Hegarty is the culprit. Now they just need, well, I can't believe they've taken the tap. Really think they should have kicked for touch.
Kennedy now. Angling to the 20-metre line. And they're right in the centre of the park. Andrew with a long pass. Gidley on Hegarty. And Gidley's pass doesn't find the mark of Albert. It finds the touchline.
And the sliding defence of the Roosters. We saw it against the Raiders last week. They force Gidley wide. Singh stays, allows Hegarty to make his tackle. The ball goes out over the sideline. Matt Singh did not come in on Gidley. He said, Albert's my man. He trusted his centre. And they've forced a very vital error. 5.5 minutes left on the clock.
So for the Roosters, it must be mistake-free. As they bring it away out of their own zone, it is Ryan Cross who's hit, and hit hard by Ben Kennedy.
If I was Brad Fittler-Ray, I'd be tempted not to wait to the last to kick.
Fletcher.
I'd let them go one more and then drive it as far as he could. Wouldn't care if it went over the dead ball line at the other end.
Ruben now. So they've used 4. And it has gone to Solomona. So they're going to use the full complement. And now back for the boot. The boot is Bradley Fittler.
The key for the Roosters there, they gave it to their best, well, the quickest play the ball man, Solomona, on the 5th tackle. That way they'd have momentum, get the ball quickly to Fittler. Solomona on tackle 5, very quick play the ball.
This is McDougall.
Been very well contained tonight. Adam McDougall hasn't featured too prominently as Johns looking for support.
Badeiros supports. And now they're 5 metres from the halfway line. Not beaten yet. Badeiros gets up and goes again before giving it to Gidley. Gidley gets it away for Andrew Johns. He puts it on the bounce over to Kennedy. Kennedy takes it down to the 40-metre line and beyond. the Roosters converge. A quick play the ball by Kennedy. Peden for Andrew Johns. He looks back on the blind side, and on the short side he finds McDougall. McDougall finds Rahihi, and it goes over the sideline.
It's hard to get them when you really need them. The clock is the worst enemy to Newcastle at the moment. The Roosters hanging on. They're trying everything they've got, but the defence doesn't panic. See how the angle. They're all coming back towards the corner post. They know they can win the race there. Show them the outside. Again, the ball over the sideline. Roosters sliding defence working well under pressure.
Roosters fan club working well under pressure as well. But not the pressure they were under at half-time. They trailed 16-2, and they're leading 26-20. 7-6 the handling errors. 30-metre line, their own end, steady as you go. That's all they have to do. Ryan Fletcher. It's been a mighty effort.
Been a huge effort. Not just the deficit they've had to overcome, but the fact they've done it with a man short. No Luke Ricketson from fairly early in this game. And Adrian Lamb now out of dummy half. All the chasers on side. He'd be happy to find touch, and does so. Inch perfect.
The little things falling now. Adrian Lamb over the top. In the first half, this might have gone an inch outside the sideline. In the second half, just gets in, bang. Now the Knights have got to go 100 metres if they want to stay alive in this competition. The Roosters 2 minutes to hold on to get to a grand final.
Gidley, they've got 90 metres to go. Tahu's down the left side, turns on the inside. He's grounded there by Minicello, or by Fittler it was, 25 away from the Knights line. Here's a good run. David Fairley, is it? No, in fact it was Bill Peden. Matthew Johns, Andrew Johns combined. Rahihi up the middle.
The Roosters must not give a penalty away. They must not give the opposition 2 sets of 6.
Badiris. The pass, I thought, was forward to Mark Hughes. He then tries to go through. He does. Andrew Johns is inside the 40-metre line. Andrew Johns will stay alive. Puts it on the ground. Picked up by Ben Kennedy, but
Knock on.
Bill Harrigan has ordered a knock on.
Knock on. It's too early to say game, set and match. The ball goes straight to the ground. Bill Harrigan rules it's knocked forward. And that could well be, as Andrew Johns indicates, the last throw of the dice for the Newcastle Knights. Now the Roosters, 1 minute, 1 set of 6. Hold on to the ball. 5 tackles. Get it out over the sideline. Raise your hands in the air. You're off to the grand final.
Bring it around.
So eventually we get the ball in and out of the scrum, and it is Luke Phillips, one of the try scorers in that absolute try-scoring blitz that they launched in the early and middle part of the second half. One of the great rugby league comebacks. They were down at 16-2, 26-20, the final seconds of the game. Graham Murray, Hegarty.
One good kick. One good kick. Get it out over the sideline. Well done. Raise your hands in the air.
You are going to the grand final. The Sydney Roosters are into the grand final. First team through. So there it is, the final scoreboard, 26-20. The Roosters have beaten the Knights